March 2020, the financial capital of India was brought to a standstill after the number of COVID-19 cases dramatically went up. The fast-paced lifestyle was abruptly put to a halt and the numbers still kept on increasing. All eyes were on the experts of the medical world to quickly find a cure for this virus. It was pretty clear that in such a situation, prevention was a better option than going for a cure. Hospitals were full, medical staff had to get more and more people tested and put them in quarantine if needed be. And this activity had to be conducted throughout the state, especially in areas that were critically looked upon, and if corona spread happened there, it would have been very difficult to contain it. And so, this brave act was done by our very own frontline medical staff.
There was a time when it became a community spread. That was, I think, start of April. So in India, it was declared that it has reached the phase of community spread. Then we started all these camps at all the mohalla clinics at Dharavi, at various slum areas of India, and we carried out the screening camps over there to help and to remove as many patients we could and save them from this deadly pandemic. And then because of our continuous duty and everything, finally then on 20th or 22nd of April, I was tested positive.
As per this report from Times of India, over 1,000 doctors and nurses in Mumbai were found positive of COVID-19. And this is when they are taking all the precautions they can. But these doctors also understand that they are the only force standing between the general public and the virus.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone.
Let's do our due diligence, take the precautions we need to take care of ourselves.
No matter what, I still love my job and I'm going to do everything in my power to save lives.
कल की बात पुरानी नए दौर में लिखेंगे मिलकर नई कहानी.
What happened was initially, we had this typical schedule, whereby in the morning as residents we would end up going to the ward, like going to the OPD and sitting and collecting our data for our thesis work. So I was in fact pretty happy at that moment in the starting, because there were 2-3 things which happened. Is my study got selected in Washington, so I got a chance to have my oral and my poster presentation, and I was pretty keen on working for that. Plus my trial work was going on and my routine academics was going on, so we were all pretty happy about that. And I had planned a family, the seminar part, my seminar was just to get over, and I had planned a family trip with my parents all the way to go to Bangkok and Pattaya, and all that was on the way. And then suddenly Kasturba breaks in, and 23rd of March actually I down to Bangkok, but it all got cancelled. I was sitting at night in Kasturba hospital, sitting and doing my duty.
Corona was declared as pandemic on 11th of March 2020, and all over India, all the medical fraternity was out there to fight for it. We all started with our duties from I think 13th or 14th of March, and we were all posted all over. We had Kasturba Hospital, we have Seven Hills. Then Sion Hospital itself had OPDs, it had its ward duties, it had everything.
So basically, I'm a gynec resident in KM Hospital. So we were in our department, working in our department, the whole thing was going on fine. Firstly, not everybody could believe the fact that we are going to have quarantine, we're going to have lockdown, the whole procedure of that sort. Then came a point where our HOD one morning called us saying that you all are going to be posted for COVID. And at that point, we all realized that, one second, what is a gynecologist going to do in a COVID ward? It's not even our area of expertise. Everything above the respiratory tract is somebody else's concern. Everything what we deal with is probably below the abdomen. Like if you're understanding what a gynecologist does is just get a baby out. अभी एक बच्चा निकालने वाला डॉक्टर लंग का इन्फेक्शन कैसे ट्रीट करेगा? That was the kind.
But then we started off. We had our support from all our senior teachers and everyone. They said we have to go in, and we were all ready to fight. And with with all our weapons. They did train us, they did tell us how to wear our PPEs.
Firstly, wearing a PPE itself makes you really uncomfortable. Like 10 minutes into it, you're sweating. 20 minutes, you're literally wet. As time goes ahead, your body gets used to it, and then it becomes a routine. Now, at this point, we wear PPEs for 12 hours.
One day I had a patient who was pretty breathless who came up to Kasturba, and his SpO2 was falling off pretty fast. And when I took the history of the patient, I got to know the patient pretty well. So he was 29-year-old guy, and I was very sad about that. And then I tried contacting different faculties out there, but eventually I think everybody was busy. No one was in a place to get back to me at that spur of moment. So I was pretty scared. So I called up my father. So I belong to a family of doctors.
Yes.
So eventually my dad picked up the phone and he prescribed me a couple of medications. And it was not that it was difficult to find it in the ward, but eventually I found it. And with the help of the staff and the faculty, I gave it to the patient, and patient got relieved at that spur of moment.
All of this, as such, was a very different task for us, because from the field I come to, we don't get such kind of patients as such at all. So this was a very new thing. Oh my God, I'm supposed to act very fast, or else this person dies right in front of me. The first day when we were put into these wards, into COVID wards, again, mind you, we are people who do not have any ICU experience as such as a gynecologist. So there was a patient with a saturation of, say, 70, and he was gasping. Now, the only thing as a basic MBBS doctor you can do is saturation 70, gasping, you'd put him on O2. Then they told us, intubate him. Now, the concept is you need to, there has to be a person who has to guide you to intubate somebody. Because even in your internship, even if you might have intubated one or two people in your internship, it's a very different aspect when you're doing it on a live person in a COVID ward.
Every day the protocols were changing. So someday the protocol would be X, someday the protocol would be Y. So according to the protocols, the residents had to work. Okay. So it was all according to that. And initially, it should take swabs of lot of patients. Then eventually, we insisted as residents, we insisted the government to give us infrared thermometers. And I would tell you, the government was really very cooperative about a lot of things. PPs were given in adequate amount. At the same time, we as residents, we were given infrared thermometers, because of which our screening became very easy.
Though we at that time we didn't have so much of medications coming in. We had basic medications, but now what is quite advanced. What at this stage that we see, the medications are quite advanced, but that time the medications that were there, though we also didn't know how much that patient will cure, but the only thing in my mind was at that time emotionally stabilizing that patient, that assuring him that don't worry, you will be okay, you'll be going back home. And behind the mind I used to keep praying. There are all these patients that I come every day and say I just want them going back. Obviously there were some patients who used to go bad. We had to shift them to the ICU, and saw some deaths also.
We went there, we saw the first day we were told that every patient here is a COVID positive patient. Now, that obviously scares you, because when you haven't seen a single patient, you haven't dealt with anything. See, we were not posted in the ICU. So we saw the asymptomatics who were literally very stable. By the end, they would go home. While going home, they would thank us, saying, "Ki bhai, tumne hamara zindagi bachaya hai." And we had a small short video for them, saying ki we would clap for them every time they would get discharged. Like any non-COVID patient who went, we would clap for them, saying you've suffered through it, we've suffered through it, everyone's suffering, but you're going home head high.
Dharavi is a locality in Mumbai and is considered as Asia's largest slum. One look and you would know that maintaining social distancing here was next to impossible.
Screening, in a sense, we had our screening OPDs just below Sion Hospital, in front of the OPD building. And the same was there at Nair and KM. So Nair, it was somewhere slightly the other campus, like outside the campus. KM also, the screening OPD was there. And regarding Dharavi per se, there were people posted there. So there was separate Dharavi posting. Other residents were posted there. And we had Mohalla clinics. So we would go slum to slum. There they would make our sitting arrangement. They would give us PPEs. And we were given infrared thermometers. There was a form which we would fill where we had the patient identity and PAN card, Aadhaar card, and contact history and all that. So then we would take we had other residents who would take the media along with them. The swabs, the oropharyngeal, nasopharyngeal swab was taken.
एंड वो रोज चालू था एंड ऐसा नहीं था कि एक दिन था संडे तक ऑब्वियसली हम छुट्टी नहीं लेते थे इवन फॉर दीज कैंप्स हॉस्पिटल्स तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता बट इवन दीज कैंप्स ये कैंप्स नहीं रुकते थे जाना है एंड हम जाते थे एंड वी यूज टू गो विथ ऑल दिस कि जितना हो सके दैट इज द एरिया ऑल द स्लम सबसे बिगेस्ट स्लम इज धारावी सो जितना हो सके वी आर एबल टू सस्पेक्ट एंड यू नो टेक देम जाओ वहां पे उनको 10-10 बार एक पेशेंट को सेम चीज बोलनी पड़ती थी अगर अभी हम आपको सस्पेक्ट कर रहे हैं आप प्लीज दूर रहिए या आप प्लीज इसका ध्यान रखिए उसका ध्यान रखिए आप लोगों से ये मत कीजिए एवरीथिंग वी कीप रिपीटिंग इट टू देम मीन्स यू कैन से कि दिन में हम ऑलमोस्ट 150-200 रोज के रोज पेशेंट्स वी यूज टू यू नो सी और सस्पेक्ट करते थे कि ये इसको हो सकता है नहीं हो सकता अकॉर्डिंग टू द सिम्टम्स और या बाहर से ट्रैवल करके आए हो तो हम लोग उसका स्वॉब ले लेते थे एंड जैसे पॉजिटिव आता था they used to get transferred to these centers. I think that's how we were able to curb this in the slums, especially Dharavi.
So now the number has changed to almost 10 patients per 10 patients who like had hardly anything for fever OPD, you know. But in the starting the number was pretty high. We were scared, but I would tell you that not only us as residents who worked towards it, it was more of Mumbai police also who worked and a lot of general practitioners there who worked towards it. They made separate washrooms for the patients. They had separate washrooms there. Social distancing was maintained. Sanitization was taken care of. When I was doing my screening OPD, the lady constable also helped me out. Along the resident who was with me would help me. But more than that, even the police constable would help me out. They would try to maintain social distancing. Sometimes they would tell me, Madam, we will sort out things for you. We will help you out, you know. So that was also one of the things, you know, that the police constable also was pretty helpful. They compromised their nights for it.
हमारे साथ swab test के लिए micro people were always there, the microbiology people who do these swab tests. So जैसे ये मोहल्ला clinics चालू हुआ था, like I told you in slums we had these clinics. These people were always there. There were some guidelines which we followed कि अच्छा ठीक है आप positive के contact में आए हो, अगर symptoms है तो we are doing the test. So we used to do the swab test. अगर symptoms नहीं है but positive के contact में हो, please be quarantined. As and when you get the symptoms, you come back to us. We are coming here every day. कभी भी आप आ जाओ रोज हम 5-6 घंटा है यहाँ पे आप आके टेस्ट दे दो आपको स्लाइटेस्ट सिम्टम्स आए तो पहले ऐसा हो रहा था कि सबका टेस्ट ले रहे थे तो we had a very shortage of already manufacturing shortage plus because of rise in cases this was also causing a shortage. Then we had a government guideline that you come in contact with a positive patient but if you are not symptomatic you just be quarantined for 14 days. As soon as you get the symptoms, come there, we'll do your test. There is no saying a no.
See, honestly, today we're in a world where nobody knows what is effective. Now, either you can sit with your hands folded or you can try to act and do something. People came up with remedies like antivirals. Remdesivir was showing good help in the start. But later on now, it is also showing effects like, you know, a lot of hepatic fibrosis or any liver complications as such for a particular layman. On the other hand, Fabiflu has also come up. Fabiflu has lesser side effects as compared to that, but they're all gauged properly according to the situation and then given. Yes, definitely they're working for some, they're not working for a few. But it's again, nobody has seen the long-term effects because nobody knows the long-term effects. Injections like tocilizumab, they were also used. They're also given to stop the cytokine storm. But they've been beneficial to some, they've been harmful to some. Like, mind you, they've actually been harmful to some, but it's again genuinely a balance between what it is. Now, you can either stick and do nothing, or you can sit and do something and probably see the effects and try to treat the side effects of that.
The antivirals like remdesivir and flavipiravir, they were working, and we still see them working. So we are, in fact, there was a time when these drugs were literally saving lives. Now also they are, I'm not saying a no, but at that moment when we just had 1 or 2 drugs, it was just the start of Corona, the whole world, nobody knows what is going on, what will be the treatment. That time when remdesivir came in, it was really a life-saving drug. We could literally see patients whom we had put on ICU. They were, all okay when we were giving, at least improving. You could see them improving by giving these drugs. Because we had seen people who had gone on ventilator, who had gone on ICU, and when you're giving these drugs, they are improving.
you would never have imagined that a city would go like Mumbai would undergo lockdown and everybody would come hands in just to prevent somebody from a disease. Ambulances are working left, right, center. You're having hospitals working left, right, center, literally for COVID. And not like non-COVID is suffering a lot. We're having setups for non-COVID. Like even today, if a particular person gets a heart attack, KM is still treating the heart attack, whether be it COVID or non-COVID.
See, it was a new thing for the government. It was a new thing for all of us as a doctor. As eventually we advanced towards and progressed to the situation, we got to know that what all we require, how can we cause the task force and our faculty was taking due action and due interventions were taken care of. So they were also handling the situation. So at whatever we required at that spur of moment, in whichever manner they could help, they have helped us out.
See, right in the start, it was all mixed up. As we're all going ahead, we're all also trying to learn things, right? So you try to come up with new systems every day. If some flaw came up in that system, you try to change that. Now, we finally came up with this particular situation as any woman who comes in to our hospital, if she's in and around labor or she's in and around a containment area. Now, practically Mumbai is a containment area. You can't say a particular building or a particular area as a containment area. You do the rapid antigen test. If the rapid antigen test is negative, we keep them in a normal ward. Fair enough. Though understandable that the sensitivity of rapid antigen is not very high. There are patients who come with complaints of, say roughly about, they'll give you complaints of cough. If any woman who complains of cough, we have a separate septic room for them. We keep them there isolated from the normal women. So there is going to be a normal labor room. These women are going to deliver there. But there's a separate septic room where a woman with cough, with fever, or any basic symptom of COVID is, we keep them there. Once they go into labor, you deliver every patient with a PPE. You cannot deliver any patient without a PPE, because what happens is you never realize at any point somebody becomes positive. There have been incidences where most of us have examined a patient without a PPE and realized they've all become positive. Everybody's been sent to quarantine. Like there was one point literally where there were 4 and 5 residents doing the work of 20 residents.
What the problem was, see, I'm a localite, so I do come back home. So when I do come back home, there are people who are staying in the building locality. They have a problem with it. So, they will respect doctors and all. But as I belong to a medico family, my brother's been working at Seven Hills doing gynac from KM, and my dad is also a private practitioner. He's working as an anesthetist. So, it was difficult. And I had my grandparents at my place. They were medicos, but they were pretty old. So they always, I would come home and building people would always, a lot of visitors stopped coming to our place. And couple of them would say that, oh, this is a dangerous family, let's not go to this place, So that was a problem with all of us. Like as a localite, that was a problem which we did come across. But yeah, I mean, when I would look at my patients and, anytime I would enter the ward and, the way they would smile at me, it's a very different experience altogether.
Continuously, we've been doing duty since 1.5 months because it had just come. किसी को कोई guidelines नहीं पता, quarantine क्या देना है, क्या नहीं देना है. Nobody knew about anything. So then ऐसा हुआ कि we said कि चलो, we have almost completed 1.5 months and we are, this. So I just felt little coughing. It's like like you get some allergic cough or something. I just felt that and I was like, चलो ठीक है यार, अभी वैसे भी 1-1.5 महीना हो गया है ड्यूटी का, let's just go. Let me just get myself tested and let's see अगर कुछ होगा तो. It was more कि अगर मुझे कुछ हुआ तो I will give it to other patients more than treating them. It will be I am infecting them. I had given my swab in the morning. I got it done, and till night I didn't get. I mean, report takes sometimes 24 hours, sometimes 36 hours to come. So till night I had nothing. I went off peacefully कि चलो ठीक है, अभी तक कुछ आया नहीं है. अभी कल नया दिन शुरू होगा तब देखा जाएगा क्या होता है करके. And then suddenly at 3 o'clock around 3 or 4 a.m. I get a call from the resident. Actually, I had given it in Sion Hospital only, my swab. So if we come positive or whatever, we get a call at whatever time of the day it is. Our fellow residents or our fellow colleagues, they call up that the report has come positive or anything. So I got a call at 3 and I was like, oh my God, okay, I've got a call, and I missed that call. Because I was sleeping, I missed that call. Before I could pick it up, it got disconnected. And first thing in my mind was, what if I'm positive? And next moment I see a WhatsApp that your report has come positive, and I was blank because I had taken all precautions, wearing the PPE, the mask, following each and every guideline, whatever was instructed to us, whatever has to be followed as a doctor while treating the patients, everything was followed. So tabhi, that's why I'm saying ki, I slept with a assuring this ki negative ही होगा, ठीक है slight cough है कर लेते negative ही होगा. But then when it came, no, you're positive, that's when for 10-15 minutes I was blank. I had confidence that my body is going to tackle and I'm going to come back home. But that 1%, because of the experience that I have been going through, seeing the patients going from all okay to ICU and not okay at all, that 1% fear was there.
See, per se, overall, it started off like, like a very scary thing from your home. Like my parents were very worried, saying that, oh my God, you're going to go to a COVID ward. As time went ahead, it got destigmatized, not just from our point of view, but also from everybody. The genuine public, how people would look down, oh my God, people have got COVID, oh my God, you've got COVID, oh my God, somebody else has got COVID. Now it's come to a point like, okay, it's a viral infection. Go get admitted to a hospital or get home quarantine and get treated and come back. The whole journey from the whole stigmatized per se to literally now as a normal thing has been a very, very, like, I literally don't have words for it, because it's been from like, and from Indian population, the one which is a very judgmental population who judges every particular sense, to literally destigmatize this disease. Even today, there are a lot of people who still stigmatizes, but it's come to a point where, wow, like, you can see people like, okay, theek hai, you've got COVID, we will come help you. The society goes and helps you. The whole experience has been literally mind-blowing, saying that, wow, our country, who was known to probably succumb to COVID, like everybody literally said that once COVID hits India is literally dead, like dead meat, because the sheer population. But the way the government has dealt with it, the way the whole situation in Dharavi has been dealt with it, even today we were expecting a lot more numbers. Now, the basic population that we are, and to the numbers that we are seeing, though numbers are rising now, but the basic start, what every other nation saw and what we saw was a very different thing. And that's a lot of major thanks to the government and the whole hospital as such.
Dr. Natasha's personal experience was no different than any other person who suffered from COVID. But as per her account, the assurance and care from the people around kept her going.
When this insuring part comes from everyone, the sister who is treating you, who is taking your temperature, who is doing everything, even when she tells you, aap tension mat lo, aap to theek ho jaoge, with a smile, they used to come and they used to give the food, ki ye lo aap kha lo, aap tandurust ho jaoge, aap ghar chale jaoge. And those 11 days in the hospital, that was, mentally it kept me strong.
After 2 weeks in the hospital, Dr. Natasha was tested again, twice, and luckily both reports came negative. What followed next was truly heartwarming.
कब आ रही है, जल्दी घर आ जा, अभी बस हम रुके हैं, बस हो गए 11-12 दिन, बहुत हो गया, आप जल्द घर आ जा. तो ऐसे कॉल्स आते थे मुझे, every half an hour आ रहे थे, since the time I told them negative आया है and I'm coming back home. And at night at around say 11:30 I came back home, because discharge takes that much of time, if it came in the evening around 7-8 o'clock. So at 11:30 I came home, and the best part was when I came home, my society, all the youngsters maintaining social distance with mask and everything, they were all standing down to welcome me.
Great job.
Thank you, uncle. Thank you so much.
Welcome home. Welcome back. Welcome home, Nisha.
Thank you.
Great, Nisha. Great job. We are very proud of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
And that time I was tearing. Then after that, I knew 14 days I have to be there. In those 14 days, every day, parents का एक ही question होता था, वापस COVID में ही डालने वाले हैं? And I used to say yes. वापस COVID में ही जाना है. अब है तो है. I am a Corona warrior. I am a COVID warrior. They were very scared at that time कि तभी किसको कुछ पता ही नहीं कितना immunity है, क्या है, वो ही डर कि यार ये वापस जाएगी, एक बार तो आ गई है, अब वापस डालेंगे तो अब कैसा होगा. एंड सेम थिंग मेरे भी दिमाग में चलता था.
Stay home, stay safe, but don't panic if you get COVID. India is probably the most equipped as compared to the world, and we're doing a good job as residents. And as time goes ahead, we probably, hopefully, should get a vaccine. That's another hopefully. And let's hope we come out of this whole situation in a good way.
I feel immunity matters a lot. And your immunity is not only dependent on your physical strength, it even depends on you mentally. So you have to be mentally strong. So I feel being mentally strong is really, really important during this time. So it's about not only about your diet and your food, but it's even about your mental state. So all these things do really help. So that's the reason we got Ganpati in Sion Hospital. Value the amount of enjoyment and the family members you're having with you. Value your time, because time changes. And at the same time, stay home, stay safe. Put on your mask, maintain social distancing. It will not only decrease our workload, but it will save your life, and life is really precious. And I think in COVID-19, we've all got to know how precious is life.
I have seen the families of patients जिन्होंने उनको वो दिलासा दिया and वो support दिया. I feel that made them come out more. Now these patients, and I experienced that myself. ना ही just family का strength, but all जो भी I told you, the workers there, the sisters there, that one assuring word emotionally makes you stronger. That because that patient is already scared. अब उसको हो गया है, बचेगा या नहीं पता नहीं, but that supportive word, that convincing कि तुम तो ठीक हो जाओगे, आ जाओगे तुम वापस, कोई नहीं आ जाओगे. All these words just make you positive that you come back. You give them your positive support through your words. That will be the most important support for them. And बाकी medically we doctors are here to save them.
Thousands of doctors are risking their lives daily managing COVID positive patients. And still, thousands of new cases are surfacing every day. And hence, the fight against COVID-19 continues for now. We respect the dedication of our frontline COVID warriors and salute them for their services.
लिसन मैडम, कोविड के टाइम पे मुझे एक्चुअली इसका सुन के तो थोड़ा बहुत डर लग गया था, क्योंकि स्टार्ट ही हुआ था जस्ट एंड शी गॉट. उसके पापा को भी ऐसा फीलिंग नहीं था, बट मैं उनको बोलती थी कि नहीं, डोंट टेक टेंशन, जो होगा शी इज प्रोफेशनली, अपने आप कुछ ना कुछ. जो लोग सब बच्चे लोग होशियार हैं आज के. अगर हम लोग ही उनको पीछे ढकलेंगे कि बाबा ये नहीं, हम लोग डर गए आपके कोविड से, तो हमारे से पहले तो वही उधर डर जाएंगे. हम लोगों को स्ट्रेंथ देना है पेरेंट्स को कि बाबा गो अहेड. मदर का सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर्स रहता ही है बच्चों के ऊपर, देयर इज नो डाउट, बट एज अ फॉर इज अ प्रोफेशनल एंड शी इज वर्किंग फॉर द नेशन, सो इट इज गुड फॉर हर. आई एम प्राउड फॉर हर. शी इज डन द वेरी गुड जॉब.